Neighbors with your BIS commodity update for the week of March 1st, 2013. Let's look back and review what happened a little bit in the month of February. As far as the grains are concerned, corn for the month down 20 cents. Beans were up 6 cents. Wheat, the laggard of the bunch, down 77 cents. Live cattle up about 40 cents, or excuse me, live hogs up about 40 cents on the cattle, and hogs down about $6.50. The dollar index made a pretty good move during the month of February, up almost $3. This put a little pressure on commodities as a whole to some degree. Crude down over $5.50 during the month. Now, this week we saw a nice little correction, if you will, to some degree, with corn up about a little over 30 cents for the week, beans up 4, and wheat down 3. Wheat continues to be the laggard in the grain complex at this time. Month of February, typically kind of the doldrums of the market. Not much going on, not much new news. Went through the entire month without any real severe issues as far as South American weather. That can be the dragging force sometimes, or the catalyst during the month of February. But also now, as we approach March, harvest time in South America, which currently Brazil's approaching 30% done with bean harvest, is the logistics of getting that product moved to the market, especially to the Asian and more specifically the Chinese markets. We're also in a time frame as you get into March in this transition, entering the springtime. A little more emphasis now will be placed on what the upcoming crop's going to be, a little less emphasis on the old crop. And as we approach the planting intentions and stocks report at the end of the month, that will definitely fall into play. Spreads on corn and to some degree beans are the driving force of this current market. We're in the early stages of the delivery against the March contract, and with very little movement and very strong, if not historically high, basis levels for this time of year, we are also seeing new record highs on the March-May corn spread in regards to inversion that we have never seen before for this time of year. No deliveries at this point, so this cash market will probably be the supporting factor, the driving force of this corn and or beans here in the near term. Very important to watch with this transition. Keep in mind what the market's trying to say is we need bushels today and not tomorrow. So as we go through this transition time frame, as we go later into the crop here, that's going to become more and more critical. The balance of the market, though, as I mentioned, the February doldrums had a little macro risk-off type scenario here in the commodities, and keep in mind at the same time we're at or near all-time highs in the stock market, so we're seeing a little more investment interest in the equities. Crop insurance was established during the month of February. Looks like corn's going to come in at $5.65. The beans at $12.89. The corn number is almost an exact duplicate of last year. I think it's 3 cents lower. The beans are higher than a year ago by 40 cents or better. Cattle weights with these recent storms in the plains, well over a foot to 2 feet of snow in many areas of the plains. Could have some impact not only on movement but on feedlot conditions here in the near future. Storms, additional storms will be watched if there are any, but keep in mind the weight issue over the next several weeks will be interesting to watch from a supply standpoint. Exports are down on cattle 9% year to date. A little concerning, especially as we're making new recent highs in the dollar. That tends to have a little negative impact on exports as things go along. So that's definitely something to keep in mind as we go down the road in this cattle trade. All in all, though, transition time frame also in the cattle. See if we get any kind of a spring upturn here. The cattle market over the last couple months has been disappointing to many in the trade, but at the same point, these high feed costs are still having some impact, and the recovery of the cattle market it is probably, at least in the near term, somewhat limited. But watch these cattle charts specifically. They seem to have maybe put a nice bounce in this week. We'll see if we see some more acceleration off of those. Use this acceleration though to lock in some supply. One last note, jumping back to the grain real quickly, and doing some research for a meeting we're having with some commercial customers next week out in Illinois. One thing that really jumps out is the absolute lack of producer selling in the new crop corn and beans up to this point. A year ago at this time, in doing a survey for this meeting, 5 to 10% of production on the new crop was locked in. In doing some real preliminary numbers so far this year, it looks like that number is well less than 5%, in some cases well less than 1 or 2%, which is this early in the game maybe not a big deal, but kind of alarming if this market doesn't have some opportunities, as producer selling is way below what we've seen over the last several years on the new crop. Please feel free to give us a call at BIS Commodities if you have any questions in regard to the markets, and if you need any risk management tools as far as some ideas. As we go through the month, keep in mind a week from today, March 8th, is your next supply and demand update, and the next potential game changer report is March 28th at the end of this month. That will be your planting intentions number that's put out by the USDA, and also the stocks report, which will show the grain stocks available at the end, at the beginning of March as of today. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to call us 800-373-2525, and with that, have a great week.